Good morning, everybody. It's Sharnee Bennett. I just wanted to do a really quick video for you guys to really go through the distinction of teaching a man how to fish and getting a man a fish, okay? And I'll be doing that in the context of a online marketing business, okay? So for this example, we'll have get a man a fish, which means you pay other people to bring you fish, and teach a man how to fish, which is where you know how to catch a fish anytime that you want. And look, you might be wondering now what's with the stick figures. I'm a very visual person, okay? And whenever people are around or near me, I usually carry A3 sheets of paper wherever I go and some color markers. And I'm always using diagrams to illustrate my point. It's a way for me to explain ridiculously complicated, complex, difficult, and challenging online marketing concepts in an easy to understand and comprehend manner, so that it's in layman's terms, so that it's understandable. And I usually use stick figures to illustrate. So I just thought it'd be a bit of fun this week if we just did some really cool diagrams that made us all laugh and see some of these concepts newly. All right, so let's have a look at this. Okay, getting a man a fish. Okay, this is paying other people to bring you fish. So first of all, there's the excitement of being able to get the fish, and also handing over a bunch of money for people to go and get the fish. All right, now just pretend that there's a fish on this scenario here. There's actually a chicken there, but this is everyone now waiting for the fish, really excited about the fish that's coming, and getting ready for the party. All right, now this is somebody sort of standing here starting to look for some results, like where are the results, and starting to get really worried or stressed or concerned about their business. And then finally there's what's happening here, where are my results? All right, so here's the thing about getting a man a fish. What happens if you can no longer justify all of those resources for some reason, and you need to eat, right? And you need to eat. And here you are, like, basically all this time people have been feeding you the fish, and then suddenly you can't afford those resources. How are you going to put food on the table for your family? All right, so let's contrast that with teaching a man how to fish. This is so you know how to catch a fish anytime you want, okay? Here I've got a female fisherman and a male fisherman, just so that we don't have any issues with girls and guys going fishing. And here's the two here waiting to get their fish prepared for them. It's cooking over there in the oven. And anytime these people want a fish, they just whack their rod into the sea, even if they're already in the sea. Just throw a line in, and they grab the tools and they go fishing confidently whenever they want. Okay, so now let's have a look at that in real terms when it comes to an online marketing business, right? So let's just say your business don't have time to do your blogs, all right? Like no one really knows how to do it properly, so you've gone to an expert to get help with that. All right, that could probably cost you $500 a month. It might be less, it might be more. Let's not get caught up in that. It's just an example. All right, Facebook ads, most agencies are looking for $1,500 a month plus ads. And I've even seen more that are expensive. One I know in Australia is $4,000 a month. And if they're any cheaper, then perhaps, they may not even know how to get the results. I don't know, but it can cost a lot. SEO is, myself and my business, we were at the hands of this one. We had a couple of our websites and we were promised to get to page 1 of Google by a couple of agencies in Melbourne. And we were paying them $1,000 a month per website to get to the page 1 of Google. Now, after 6 months, we didn't really make any progress there. Every time I asked them what they were doing, like what was the actual process that they were following, they would say to me that that was intellectual property and that they couldn't tell us what they were doing. So I never really knew what they were doing, but it all had a lot of stuff to do with, you know, linking strategies and keywords and things like that. But ultimately, you know, that was a very expensive exercise for us. Say with your website, you need a hand there. You might need a guy to do a couple of hours or a lady to do a couple of hours. That might cost you $250 a month. Say you need someone doing your social media. You don't know how to, you know, properly post or what to post. I've seen people here in Adelaide. They're paying people, you know, $800, $1,000 a month to do their posting for them. And I'll ask them, you know, what is that person doing? Like, what is the scope of the work that they're operating under? And there won't really be any clarity over that. So really, you know, it might be you know, putting up a post a day or something like that, but that can end up being another expensive exercise. And then also email marketing. I see a lot of people, they're not sure how to, you know, send out their emails, which means that they've got someone there doing that for them. That might cost, you know, $250 a month or something like that. And that means you've got someone around and available to kind of do the emails whenever you want. All right, so here's the real cost of that scenario. All of that adds up to about $4,000 a month on outsources or some part thereof to do the work for you, which equates to $60,000 plus per year if you were going down this path. You know, I put what the hell there, that's WTH, because these costs can add up really quickly. We've done it before with a lot of, you know, our businesses in the early days before we knew what to do. We were spending money on all of these different avenues, and it was costing us a fortune. The other alternative is you kind of have all of this stuff being done by a staff member in-house. But the likelihood is those staff members have not been trained to do that role. It's sort of being added or squeezed into their existing roles. And they're just trying to do the best that they can for your business. You know, like, you know, they're doing their very best and they're on salary for $40,000 a year. And, you know, maybe 20% of their role is doing these functions and tasks. But either way, if you're not usually utilizing skilled expertise here, then, you know, how do you really know that you're getting the results that you really could be getting? All right, let's contrast that with teaching a man how to fish. Like, this is how you know how to catch a fish anytime you want. So the first thing is learning the step-by-steps. As a business owner, I always say to everyone, learn the things that you need to learn, right? It doesn't mean longer term that you'll have to be doing everything. It just means that you get an appreciation of how it all works. And the truth of it is no one knows your business as well as you. Like, you're the, you know, even if you were to give it to all these outsourced people, you know, they may have an appreciation of your business or try and learn your business, but really the main expertise and knowledge is coming from within you as a business owner or you and the team. So I always say to business owners, learn the step-by-steps, and where possible, bring a team member along with you so that you can all learn exactly what it is. And as a business owner, you start to become clear. You get clarity as you go through this step, and none of these things sort of start to lose their, I guess, not the fear is the wrong word, but they start to become, it becomes clearer what action is required to get the results that you're looking for. You start to see the cause and effect. All right, the second thing is we want to see the business owners start applying their newly found skills. Now, like with everything in life, guys, we generally don't get everything perfect straight off the bat. So there's when we first start, it's kind of like we put our best effort out there, but, you know, ultimately we're starting to apply this in practice. This is kind of like crawling before you can walk. And then I always say to my clients, I say, come and get your work reviewed so that we can bring it to the level that you want, okay? So this is where we get to tune and make the thing, take the action that makes a difference and learn how to competently do it ourselves. By the time you go through those 3 steps, you have a very clear picture about most of this stuff. All right. And then ultimately the business, where we want to get the business owner is to independently implement to mastery. Okay. And this just becomes a sequence of 4 steps that we just keep iterating through for each of the core activities. I call it a done with you model, and it's where you pay someone who knows what they're doing to teach you and your team to achieve the results you really want. And look, the thing about this is this will still cost you money as well. Like, it's not that this is, it's just comparative, is that you're investing somewhere between, $2,500, $5,000, $10,000, or even $20,000, depending on how far you take it. But you're ultimately learning it for yourself, which means that investment will carry on and on and on and on within your team as you start to grow in confidence and get clear about what it is that you need to do. And so really what I've just framed here, guys, is the difference between an agency model and a difference between a done with you model. Okay. And I have, we've got clients that kind of do both. We have no preference about, either of them really. It's just we like to teach people how to do it so that they're not reliant on us, that we can, they can finish our work with us and be okay. I mean, that's ultimately what we want for all our clients. So let me just give you a working example of a client, a client of ours. Here's my talented client, and he's walking his dog. I don't know the dog's name, so don't ask me, guys, what the dog's name is. All right, look, he went through a really tough time. A couple of years ago, he was going through a tough time, and he had some cash flow issues on the business, and he was considering shutting his doors. But ultimately, this is his passion. So he was determined to get through this stage. But he had a bit of he just went through a tough time. And so there he is, sad and wondering what the hell to do. So he ended up spending money on a cast of 1,000 experts. Like, he went out to a Facebook agency, $4,000 a month, and social media people and coaches, and he had just spent a lot of money on a lot of people. And in the end, he was getting nowhere because he still wasn't getting the results that he wanted, and he was really tearing his hair out. Like, how do I get this in place and working so that I can have clients and customers in my business that are paying me and I can help them. All right, so that's where he was at 2 years ago. So now he really went back to the drawing board. He was like, what do I need to do to learn this and get this in place, right? So he hired people to teach him. I was fortunate enough to be one of those people. He ended up hiring, I think there was 3 of us in the end, and we all worked at different stages on this campaign. But the key thing here, guys, is that he became a willing student. He didn't come into the coaching like telling us how much he knew everything. I mean, look, he'd already been through these thousands of experts, and he'd already had a shot at it. So he had enough knowledge to have an opinion about a bunch of stuff, but he just accepted that he didn't have all the answers because he ultimately didn't have the results that he was looking for. So he became a willing student and coachable. So then the 3 of us eventually sort of worked on this whole idea, and we reframed things and we looked at the puzzle a little differently. And I'm pleased to say that we were able to get his business model working. We got to the point where in Facebook, we were able to put $1 in to Facebook and generate $8 out every 30 days. All right. So that was a real victory for the business model because we were able to crack gold essentially with his business. He became very, very happy, hopeful, and excited at this point, and that he'd kind of gotten past that tough time that he'd been through in his business where he had, a lack of leads that he could work with. So he started to feel hopeful and excited, and then we ended up giving it to an agency at that point to just do the scaling, right? So that's like, by that time we had, working funnel, like a working business, a working back end. We had a sales team. We kind of had all the major bolts had been ironed out and were in place. And then we just handed that whole thing over to an agency and said, okay, your role now is to scale this to $100,000 a month. Okay. So As it stands right now, in the month of March 2017, I am thrilled to say that he is now spending around 12 grand a month on Facebook ads, and that is generating 100 grand a month for his business. And he's ultimately very wrapped and doing really well. So I just thought that would be a really nice example to sort of tell you the journey that like a lot of people are going on. You know, before it becomes clear to them, you go through many phases, and you might even try, working with a bunch of experts, but you just know that it's not coming together the way it could. And but when it does, it's like, as a business owner, you're not sitting there going, I wonder if this is working. It's actually you start to feel it. You get to see the rewards and the fruits of it start to come through, and you get to see it newly. And as a result, your confidence grows and your level of stress goes down. You have more peace and freedom. So guys, I want to just emphasize here that it's simple, but it's not easy. Like that example that I just gave you, that he worked very, very hard on his business over a number of years, and he had tried a lot of things. And I still remember the day he rang me and he was like, you know what, Sharnee, I just feel like giving up. But through a bunch of different people, we were able to change that scenario for him. And now look, only a few short months, nearly a year later, and he's got that sort of victory. I mean, that's a game changer for any business model. And so it's definitely something that can be done, but it's not easy. There's a lot you have to work through. As a business owner, you have to accept that you don't know everything. If a client cannot see that they don't know everything, then they'll have a closed mind, and we will simply not be able to share with them the things that will make all the difference. It requires work. It requires time and effort in your calendar. I say to my clients, unless you can spend an hour a day working on your business, on your marketing, coming up with things, experimenting, then really you're just, you're just in your business and you're not on your business. It requires the prioritization of time and resources. If you don't have that time as a business owner, it requires you to put an administrative resource or an IT resource onto the project to help with that work. But I still like the business owner to be intimately involved, because I know that the knowledge and the expertise is mostly going to come from that direction. And, look, as we go through this stuff with people, many people will disregard it as irrelevant to them. They might have a bunch of things like, oh, my clients aren't on Facebook. Or they might say, look, my clients aren't on social media. And like, when I hear those words coming out of people's mouths, I just like sit there thinking, where have you been the last few years? Like, Facebook has been around for, I don't know, I think it's, I don't even know how many years it's been around. I think it's been 14, but, anyone who's sort of in denial about the fact that their clients are potentially on social media, that's to their own detriment and the survival of their business, because it's not that they're not on there. It's just that they don't know how to attract those clients to them and have them become clients. So now I just want to leave you guys with, the question really, in the longer run, which method is going to work better for you and your team? Are you the sort of person that wants to have your clients delivered to you on a plate every month? You get them done from an agency, and you don't necessarily need to know the how. You just happy with the result that you're getting, and you're happy to make that investment? Or would you rather learn how to do it yourself, so that at any point you know how to cast your rod and catch a fish on any day of the week that you want, with you and your team, and confidently do that? So that's really what I wanted to share with you guys. If you guys have an opinion, I would love for you to share it here on this post. What do you call it? Teach a man to fish or get a fish. So that's the discussion for today, guys. All right. Thank you so much. My name is Sharnee Bennett, and it's been my pleasure today to stimulate this conversation and this distinction here with you guys. Okay. Bye.